Well, friends, a sign that you're now part of Real Madrid is that people start insulting you, right? You're not as well liked anymore. For whatever reason, Cucurella, who everyone liked, I'm still going to like him. In fact, I would have still liked him if he had stayed at Chelsea or even if he had signed for Barca, because if I like someone, I like them. I think you focus on personal matters and what someone is like, but some people don't. They're so sectarian that, well, you belong to this, you have these ideas, these thoughts. If you support the colors of a certain team, Plaf, now I insult you and I don't like you anymore. Well, that's what has happened, and even more so since it's Real Madrid, naturally, right? They were already taking too long to insult him, and now they've insulted him. And none other than Gerard Romero from Gigantes, who said this when he found out. And also something very curious, which is, but how did he not tell his national team teammates? How did he not tell his national team teammates? Well, that's it. This is what he said about Cucurella. It pissed them off. And I'll show you why in a moment. I'm actually watching Dan Danfries specifically in the Japan versus Netherlands match. And I say it pissed them off because Barca wanted him, Atleti wanted him. There were even some really funny headlines that we remember now. Let's hear from the guy from Gigantes, as the other one says.
Cucurella hadn't said anything in the national team until Fabrizio Romano's information came out. The players didn't know. They found out once Fabrizio released the information. He handled all of this so discreetly that the Barca players only found out when Fabrizio dropped the bomb during the Spanish national team camp, because he didn't want to say absolutely anything. He clearly knows there's not a single Madrid rat there, that the white rat is him. Now they'll say that, yes, now they finally have a player in the Spanish national team. So that's how it is. That's how things are. Call Cuckoo. Yeah, man, of course. Now I'm going to call Cuckoo right before the game he has tomorrow.
Well, he's had him on the channel after. He's had him several times, I think, right? And also, this guy, Cucurella, he gets along with everyone and all that. It's a shame that now he doesn't. So from here, a hug to good old Cuckoo, because it's not going to be easy, my friend. He said, fucking white rat. That's what he said. And I mean, so easily. It's honestly amazing. And also, being proud that in a Spanish national team that they absolutely don't care about, because these guys have always wanted Spain to lose. They don't care about Spain. And now, yes, now they like Spain because there are a lot of Barca players, luckily, which is good. And I always say it on this channel. I've always thought the same thing. I don't care if the Spanish national team has Real Madrid players or 20 from Barca. I'll always support my national team. These people who flip-flop like this, these are the bad ones. These are the bad ones. And also now, why did he sign for Real Madrid calling him a white rat? And with the addition of PUT bitch, which I'm not going to say again because YouTube penalizes these things. Heavy, what really bothers them is this. Yeah, during the last days and weeks, they've been talking all the time about Bernardo Silva. Well, Julian Alvarez too, about Madrid that made an offer. What happens is that let's see how it ends up materializing. As we said a few matches ago, the whole thing was very strange. Maybe it's all part of a master plan. And hopefully it would be a reason to carry Florentino on our shoulders if he's involved in this, right? With us having beaten both Atletico de Madrid and Barca to Bernardo Silva, and now Cucurella. And it's really bothering them. Anyway, I go back to what Gerard Romero said, that, hey, Barca hasn't found out, but why does Barca have to know about the national team? Cucurella is going to a club. Madrid has handled this with a lot of discretion, and they must have told the kid, hey, don't say a word, obviously, right? Some people are comparing it to what happened with Lopetegui in 2018. But, well, I mean, like now De La Fuente wouldn't play him, because many hardcore Madrid fans are conspiracy theorists who will now say, watch, Cucurella won't play him. Cucurella is Spain's top left back and among the world's best. To think that just because he signed for Real Madrid, man, now he won't be a starter, and if in any match Grimaldo plays, it's just to give Cucurella a rest. In these first two games, and possibly the third if Spain has qualified, I wouldn't play against Uruguay, almost like the goal from the Netherlands. I wouldn't play, since finishing second in the group could mean facing Argentina in the round of 16, so you shouldn't take chances. But if in any of these three matches he wants to give Cucurella a rest, he'll put in Grimaldos, who is Spain's second left back. But to think that just because he signed for Madrid, now he won't play him, well, that's like thinking the same way as those Barcelona Narnia fans, right? that we now need to dislike Cucurella, or his FC Barcelona teammates must dislike him, or that he must tell his Barcelona teammates he signed with Madrid. The best club in the world wants to sign you and tells you to keep quiet and not say anything. And if you have to tell Lamine Yamal, like, hey, let me sign for Madrid, it's unbelievable. It's honestly incredible. But anyway, screw them big time. Let's talk about this because, hey, it looks really good. It looks wonderfully good, especially because of the policy change. Look, Konate is not the best center back in the world. Dan Friss is, but he's one of the best. It's also true that he hasn't had a good year. Of course, he had some very good years before, but he's an important player to strengthen a position that Madrid always tends to have problems with because a lot of people get injured. And because we don't have enough players there, that's for sure. So signing Konate is a great move. Dumfries, who's 30 years old, who's had ankle surgery. Yes, he's also a right back who can deliver immediate results. So as we've said here, Konate and Dumfries weren't exactly headline signings or players you'd say, with these guys we'll crush it, but they're definitely covering key positions. That's where the difference lies. I think, well, because of the player's quality and in Cucurella's case, because of his age. Cucurella is about to turn 28, and it's not the same as Bernardo Silva, who's about to turn 32. But Bernardo Silva is just so good. And coming from where he comes from, and because of his status as a locker room leader where he was, we understand that here too, especially if Mourinho asks for him, who is a great signing. We said it the other day. The doubts were because Madrid doesn't usually do this or hasn't been doing this in recent years. That is, hey, have we changed our signing policy? Well, yes, we can already say that with what we have here. With a guy who's 30 years old, another who's 32 with a Cucurella. I think Real Madrid would have never signed him if Mourinho hadn't come. And he says, hey, I want this guy because he really fits the profile of the left back I want, especially in a position where there are already 3 players, as we mentioned in the previous video. Let's see which one of them he gets rid of, whether it's Fran Garcia, Carreras, or Mendy. Since Mendy is injured, Madrid can't move him, but between Fran Garcia and Carreras, it seems Fran Garcia might leave, making Carreras a strong backup. Now, as we mentioned in the previous video, how do you think each of them would take it, given what little we know about them as people, right? The type of personality that Fran Garcia and Carreras have, who is going to perform better? Who can be a substitute without causing locker room or personal issues? Fran Garcia, clearly, right? Well, anyway, this could change. If Madrid signs Cucurella, it's to make him a starter. And honestly, I think up to this point, we're waiting for a big signing for the midfield, as it has to be, because that's where we really need a player. And hopefully, even two. There are people also asking for a center forward. I think Madrid should have, well, if Hendrik is already coming, but maybe someone like Jose Lu, that kind of profile, someone who knows their role will be on the bench. That's why I would even keep Gonzalo. I can understand that they might want to loan Gonzalo out or transfer 50% of his rights so he can get minutes with another team. They said he was one of the players Mourinho wanted to move on precisely because of that. But anyway, I can sleep perfectly well, and I can live without Madrid signing another striker. What I want is one more midfielder and above all, one more center back, because I still think that position is a bit weak. They're talking about Slotterberg, who just won 7-1 with Germany in that match against Curaçao. He scored a goal, and I think he had a good performance. It's true that it was Curaçao, but he left Rudiger on the bench. I don't know if Rudiger is going to be a substitute in this World Cup, maybe because it's the first match, and well, it was an easy match for the German national team. Maybe that's why Nagelsmann chose that, but it's very likely that Rudiger will be a substitute in this World Cup. In any case, that's why. Because he's a guy who, from a physical standpoint, doesn't offer 100% guarantees either, although Madrid is going to renew his contract for 1 more year. And that's exactly why you need another center back there. And it looks like, hey, to complete a great summer, Slotterberg could be part of it if Mourinho wants him. Because they're giving him authority, as it should be, in this transfer policy that has changed 180 degrees at Real Madrid. Immediate performance, players who come in ready to deliver. and to bring experienced people into the locker room and stop signing kids and sign maturity. Slotterberg, who I don't think is, I don't know how old Slotterberg is, but he's not a youngster. He's not very old either. I think that, well, with the experience he already has at Borussia Dortmund, and he played a Champions League final against us, he would be another key element for the same thing, right? Of immediate performance. Another German, Khedira. They're saying he would be Mourinho's right-hand man, his assistant on the Real Madrid bench. They talked about Pepe, now about Khedira. This isn't certain. It's also something that I don't know if Real Madrid fans are really excited about, because Khedira, well, he was at Real Madrid. He's well-liked and appreciated, but it's not the same as Pepe. Or it's not the same as if at the time Arbeloa had been Mourinho's assistant. But anyway, it's one of the names that has come up this afternoon. We're leaving. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and share if you enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next Hype It. Liking the video really helps. And I think it's helping us get our views back up again. It's really appreciated. And also with subscriptions, we've finally stopped the loss of people who were leaving, and our views have gone up. And that's really great. It brings a smile to our faces after some tough weeks. See you later. Bye.